How to identify high explosive and armour piercing artillery shells. The easiest way to answer that is, if it has a fuse, it's going to be high explosive. In World War I, it could be shrapnel if you want to get really particular, but on the whole, high explosive. And obviously in World War II, no shrapnel was used, just purely high explosive. So just for basics, a fuse will always represent a high explosive shell. And on the other hand, as you can see, it's completely rock solid. Nothing else to it apart from a massive, clunky, solid piece of metal. And that is going to be your armour piercing round. It does not matter how big the projectile is or how small the projectile is, the same principle is still the same. So again, for high explosive, we've got the detachable fuse, as you can see, screws on and off. And then for the armour piercing round, we've got that solid mass of metal. And there we have the two differences on appearance. Obviously there's differences in what they actually do and what their function is. Armour piercing is pretty self-explanatory, and I guess a high explosive fuse is pretty self-explanatory, but the real ins and outs is something that you guys might be interested in. So if you do want to see a video on the differences on that kind of thing, let me know in the comments. Cheers for watching, guys. Hopefully you've learnt something. This is more like for the beginner collectors out there, so they don't because you're not necessarily going to know what an armour piercing or high explosive shell is. So that's just the basics. Rock solid, armour piercing. If it's got a fuse, more than likely high explosive, although it could be a shrapnel. Only if it's a World War I dated, but on the whole it's going to be high explosive. Anyway, cheers for watching, guys. Bit of a waffle near the end, but hopefully you have learnt something. This was more for the beginner collectors. And if you have learnt something, make sure you give me a subscribe and all that jazz. Cheers for watching, guys. Subscribe!